Hi everyone, it's a Monday and you're watching me, Nikki Yu, also known as Faces Trader. This is the Awesome 10X Global Market Update. Let's begin. So this week, we're going to start with earnings. So you've got huge earnings results before the open from the trade desk. You've got companies like Digital Turbine also reporting today. So we're going to have to understand what's happening within the programmatic advertising sector. Last week, we already got the numbers from Roku and we're actually bullish on the dips. The drop of about 380 to 390 looks to be actually being bought. It seems unlikely for us to get $350 to $360. So we're willing to actually buy more, even at $390. We're going to also see how streaming companies are going to work out this month. So Fubo TV after market close tomorrow, Tuesday, that's going to be an important company to watch out on. Coinbase also reporting, Unity, Upstart. So we've seen great numbers already happening for Sophie. Well, actually Sophie on Thursday. We've been seeing Lending Tree, Lending Club do well. That's why there is a huge expectation that Upstart and SoFi should be doing well. Some of the companies I'm looking at for this week. Of course, we're going to take a look on NEO, the movement of NEO, Coupang, Blink, EVgo. These companies will give us ideas on how the entire electric car vehicles are happening for electric charging stations, and it will also give us an understanding how ChargePoint will trade that. We'll also take a look at App Harvest just to understand food security stocks and indoor farming names. It's also important that Thursday, very strong companies are reporting. You've got Walt Disney, you've got Palantir, Grow Generation, Canadian Solar. You also have cannabis names like Sundial. You've got Airbnb. You've got Wish. So the people who are trading AMC and Wish are going to have earnings releases tonight, this week. You've got Laser also reporting on Thursday. So Thursday, you've got big companies reporting. Lastly, on Friday, Friday is going to be I'm not quite interested in the companies reporting on Friday. So mostly on the Thursday, we've got a lot of results to understand August 12th. Let's understand, actually Origin will give business updates as well on August 12th. So let me just show to you the companies that I'm watching on this earnings calendar for the week. So earnings calendar, other than the trade desk, you've got actually Agora reporting on August 10. That would be giving us more understanding and updates about how the education tech sector actually affected their numbers and whether they indeed actually had any differences. Qualcomm is going to be reporting in a growth conference. We already got great numbers from Qualcomm, and they actually had a bid on Veoneer. We'll discuss those news. Then August 11, they'll be discussing this growth conference with Canaccord Genuity. August 12 is, I think, the more difficult day because there's a lot of things happening. You've got Laser, Palantir, Disney, Airbnb. But the market is actually already expecting Disney and Airbnb to do well, seeing how SeaWorld and how Six Flags have done. And you'll notice that cryptocurrencies are expected to be upwards. And so on August 10, Coinbase, there is a huge expectations on Coinbase results. Whether it's positive or negative, you'll see that the market has already priced in expectations that Coinbase is going to do well, especially since cryptocurrency has been rising yet again. You're seeing, however, a resistance here at $300 on Coinbase. So these are the companies that I think are worth your watch, especially for this week. Cerence is going to report on Monday. Cerence and the important stuff to take a look at this week. You've got Cerence, Scientific Games, Vuzi. Sorry, let me drink some water. So we'll be discussing them after results. Amongst the companies that reported already last week, I'm going to share to you the companies that I've bought on my own eToro report. So far, Tencent has advanced from 420, 425. It has rallied to as high as 470 in a week's time. Under Armour, very good numbers, keeping that. CRISPR, all the genetic editing names are actually doing very well. You'll notice that although last Friday we saw a dip on these past 9 genetic editing names, it remains, however, to be in a very bullish fashion. So for those who don't have genetic editing names, perhaps this week's drop on any dips in CRISPR is also a buying opportunity. Take note here, CRISPR earnings results, or rather clinical trials, were reported July 29. And actually, a week ago, it rallied from 120 all the way to 140. Actually, entire genomic revolution was growing. So you'll see that the first resistance is somewhere at the 150 to 160. Dips on CRISPR is expected to be bullish. Take note what's happening as well with Editas. Almost all of them have been rallying after their numbers were disclosed. July 29, August 4, Editas. Let's try to see the results coming out from these companies. So very explosive movements on the updates on these genetic editing names. Let's read up. Editas Medicine rose from $40 to as high as $55, nearing 50% to close at $60 for just 2 weeks. So let's take a look and see the results and why there are massive earnings upgrades. Editas Q2 earnings beat estimates even as revenues are falling. Let's read the monthly full transcripts here. While it's loading, let me show to you the biggest moves in the genetic editing sector. Indeed, this sector is doing well as batteries. So your Microvast did very well. Your Freyer battery did very well last week. Let's take a look at those movements. Freyer battery has rallied from 7.5 to as high as $12. We'll see if there is a resistance here at 12.50 to 13.20, although I assume there will be those resistances there. Microvast, let me show you the movements last week. From as low as $8 to as high as $13, or almost 50% in just a week's time. There's also movement in, so almost all the batteries. Let me see if Romeo Power even followed suit. Romeo Power did not. Only QuantumScape didn't go up, actually. It just left here. But we'll see whether this week's going to change. For the sector, though, they've been doing very well. Freyer, Microvast, there's another battery company. What is it? I would remember. But the sector has been doing very well. Let's read the Editas earnings. Okay, collaboration R&D comprised the company's top line. It came in at 0.4 million compared with 10 million. The top line substantially missed. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the earnings evaluation. The results are up following the announcement because of most likely product portfolio. Let's go here. The company's pipeline and other updates. So far, the pipeline development focus is the key. Companies developing their lead pipeline candidate, the EDIT-101, employing CRISPR gene editing to treat leber congenital amaurosis type 10, LCA10. This is a rare genetic illness that causes blindness. In June 2021, Editas started enrollment in the first of 2 planned pediatric cohorts in the phase 1 and 2 Brilliant study, evaluating EDIT-101 for treating LCA10. Initial data from the same is expected next month, marking the company's first ever clinical data readout for any of their pipeline candidates. Editas is now running in the pediatric mid-dose cohort and the adult high-dose cohort concurrently. First dosing is expected this summer. Dosing completion is anticipated in the first half of 2022. Editas has also started the phase 1 and 2 Ruby study to assess the safety and efficacy of other pipeline candidates, EDIT-301 for treating sickle cell disease. The company is planning to dose the first patient in the Ruby study by the end of 2021. Planning to submit an investigational new drug filing to the FDA to begin clinical studies on EDIT-301 for the treatment of beta thalassemia by 2021 end. You could see that most people were buying it based on their updates and clinical trials. Let's read further onto their earnings transcript of Editas. Okay, so in their second quarter, let's see. The EDIT 101 Brilliance trial is proceeding very well with independent data monitoring committee endorsing enrollment already. We've started enrolling patients, pediatric and adult high dose. The EDIT trial is going to happen this September. So those results are going to happen next month. That's why people are buying it before those results. This is going to be the first ever clinical data readout. The Ruby study of EDIT 301 is also on track by the end of the year. So perhaps that's December. So September and December. EDIT 301 is progressing by also December. Beta thalassemia. Now, supporting the unique properties of our proprietary Cas12a enzyme, we recently published this in Nature Communications. We're going to present new data on our multi-transgene knock-in proficiency at the upcoming Cold Spring Harbor meeting. These accomplishments further support the incredible potential of our gene editing platform, our manufacturing capabilities, our success and progress in oncology programs, advancing preclinical studies, Okay, so most of it is actually buying up before those clinical data trials. You can see already that the market is bullish on Editas. You can read further on their transcript. Let me show to you further things happening since a week ago. So we saw Editas move higher. We also saw most of these companies go higher. Beam Therapeutics, you could see after results went up as a whole, 80 to 110. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes 120 or a 50% run. Notice this strong movement in Beam Therapeutics. Let's take a look at all these gene editing, base editing names. Repair Therapeutics is nearing an all-time high, trying to break this $35, which is a one-year high base resistance, no? Base editing for RPTX. Let's take a look on all the charts of genetic editing. CRISPR, Editas, Intellia. NTLA, of course, is looking to hit 170. It already hit 177 last week. Had a mild pullback here at 167, but we are seeing very strong hands breaking this 150 and high support here at 130. So from the looks of this, Intellia, people are actually bullish on this and looking to actually break on to new heights. From as low as $18 in October 2020, it's now trading 10x or $180 if ever it hits that. This bullishness in Intellia is not easy to explain until you actually read out the transcripts on their developments. So what you can infer here is ask a doctor or ask geneticists or read further on those who are more advanced in CRISPR-Cas9 to tell you why these movements are hitting 10x. Intellia, so I'll just give you the facts. Intellia is doing well. NVT had a gap up last week. Good results from about 28 here, rallied to as high as 32. We still see this reversing from a technical standpoint, going to at least 38. So for those who are looking on NVT, you want to actually enter 28 and 29 or even at $30. Use these entries as a starting point for you to enter into some diagnostics. NVT is helping most of the people. If my memory is correct, they've already got over 2 million patients who had their genetic sequencing tests with NVT. So NVT, PacBio, take note of these names. PacBio also good results. Rallied from 28 all the way to about 36. This mild drop here at 32 is more of an entry opportunity. Use any dips on these names to actually enter further. Take a look as well on Bingo, Bionan Genomics, rallied from 580, now trading at 632. We see this actually hitting $7 and $8 for those who have genomics. Read further, but the results are probably all positive. That's why these charts are already exhibiting all on a positive mode. Your ARC Genomics is, of course, a beneficiary because it has invested a lot of these genomic editing names. Notice this has rallied this month from about low of 82 to as high as 90 or 10% rally. Any dips here at about 85 below is more of an opportunity to add more, as we also believe that the strength is going to remain in play further until next 3 months, especially if these September trials of Editas is going to be a blockbuster move on the higher zone. So Editas, notice what happened here. It is rallying so far from a low of 30, now trading 100%. Could this go $100 or $200? Judging from the movement of Intelia already, it's going to be company specific, but we already have a template here. If it's successful, this one went from 88 to 200 or in a single day 100%. It's not unimaginable to see companies, especially in the genetic editing space, going up 100% in a single day. Of course, there are gene editing names that are new. This one is an IPO, Graphite Bio. We see it actually trading at 20. We don't know if it's going to go 30 or 40, but the sector is strong. Okay, Alibaba right now has news of a sexual misconduct. I think it's a small news wherein an employee was actually speaking out like similar to the global Me Too movement. From a business standpoint, I don't think it has a huge impact on the company. So actually, any drops of Alibaba nowadays, here at about $188, is okay to buy for those who want to enter into this Chinese e-commerce name after good numbers. Second quarter numbers were actually good. Use any non-related to business news, like any negative headline for a buying opportunity. 185, we see a buying zone here in Alibaba as well at 175. First resistance is still at about 200 and 210. Maximum, if ever, in the next year is probably 240. Still got a lot of resistance for Alibaba. Heidi Lau, yeah, we are seeing in Chinese stocks. I have Heidi Lau in my portfolio. I'm entering that because it is here at support, and I'm also bullish in the reopening. So I've been seeing a lot of companies in the US, spectacular results in the restaurants reopening sector. Although China is not the same as US, I do think that globally the recovery is underway. And so whether it be casinos like Wynn Resorts reporting in US, I'm also bullish on Wynn. I'm using all these reopening candidates as a buying opportunity. Notice Wynn Resorts going from 91 to 99. Dips are a buying zone. Even companies like Las Vegas Sands, even if it's weaker because of a delay in Marina Bay Sands, notice bullish fronts happening here at 38 to 41, or the first 10% move. I'm seeing a bullishness even on Beyond Meat, despite a negative news last Friday on restaurants. Beyond Meat was blaming Delta variant as a reason for their decline, but notice how the market reacted. The market actually bought 116 all the way to 123, suggesting that the market is very much willing to put behind all the COVID and Delta variant bumpiness and actually willing to buy it up. The fact that it went up from 116 to 123 is a restaurant reopening recovery in my view. This is what's happened with the growth in companies like CMG. You saw this all-time high move. You're seeing actually all-time high moves from companies that are able to actually address those earnings mixture. So this is why I've been buying companies even like Shake Shack, despite the fact that Shake Shack isn't actually reporting good numbers. I saw the numbers not that good, but I'm willing to buy at $90. So you're seeing me actually buy gap downs, even if the CEO itself is uncertain about the restaurant recovery or the hotel recovery. Last week, travel platforms like Expedia reported good numbers, $2 billion, but of course for them, this travel industry is a curveball. So what you'll notice this week on the earnings call of Disney and Airbnb, they'll likely downplay whatever gains they have because they're saying it's still slow recovery, but we're willing to actually buy those dips. So Expedia dropping 8% after those hesitancy on Delta variant. I've been willing to buy that at 147, 148. You think this is a buy even at 130, should be a good opportunity to load up on Expedia travel platforms. Notice what the movements here of booking.com here. 2,200, even a drop here about 2.1 is an opportunity to load up. And of course, Airbnb results this Thursday come here at about 141, 142. We've got an entry point here for a rally all the way to 169. I think it's also true that Roku's numbers show that despite this reopening play and what's been happening with Pinterest especially, the market is focused on reopening. That's why any dips of names like digital advertising like Roku to me is more neutral. that's why any dips of Roku, I'll be willing to buy. I think that the entire shift is not just only for Facebook and Google, but also for Roku. You'll see that later on. Latest movements in the trade desk and MGNI, Pubmatic, will give us a glimpse really of how digital advertising as a whole is getting the recovery. But my view is that they'll all be positive. So take a look at what's gonna happen. Earnings for Acuity Ads. It's here at support right now. $8. The trade desk, I expect that to actually further growth. So you'll see people actually rally behind this. Any dips of the trade desk on any drop, let's say on any earnings miss, in my view, will still be bought. 77 becoming support with 95, 96 as the next resistance. Generally, heading into this week, I'm bullish. I'd say that the market is willing to carry out strong drops to be shallow. Notice how shallow your Nasdaq is, felt about 14.7. Futures just 14.9 and then rallying up. That's all attributed to very strong movements of your Facebooks, your movement on Google. So all of these are your digital advertising kings, suggesting that the market still has bullishness left to go upwards. In fairness, I also see casinos nga, yun nga, casino sector has been doing well. And I'm actually bullish as well in Adidas. Adidas is in Europe, seeing how Nike is doing well. Adidas numbers actually is 55% up. Very good growth in Adidas. But the reason why there's drops is because Adidas is getting boycotted by China. So I don't think that's a huge problem as Adidas is a global company. And so dips $300 or 310 is for me a good opportunity to load up on Adidas. Adidas Europe is actually still trading at near all-time highs. Their all-time high is 298. It's now 310. So sorry, their all-time high before was 334. A dip of 10% here at $300 is a good opportunity to load up on a good secular winner. Adidas, take note what's happening in the sector. The sector is especially is like leaning and Anta are doing well. All-time highs, all the sectors. Okay. So there's a question. What do you think of Sun Power earnings? Actually, I'd say that on dips, it will be bought, just like what happened with Sunrun. Sunrun actually dropped last Friday, 8% on the earnings. I'm willing to buy that. I actually bought that dip, $48. I've been buying the dips on companies that I see as a secular winner. So in case Sunrun falls tonight, even at 44, should be continuously bought. Sunrun had a change in CEO from Lynn Jurish to the Green Mountain Power prior CEO, Mary Campbell. I think that's the name. The new CEO is going to show to us that they are still the number one, number two residential power installations. Solar Edge numbers show to me that you should be confident in the entire solar as a sector. So I also bought Solar Edge last week. Any dips of Solar Edge to me is a buy. Same case for Enphase. You're just seeing that the strength of the sector is stronger for Enphase and Solar Edge. But I would say that the entire solar group is okay. So CSIQ will report this Thursday. So you'll see CSIQ, SunPower give results. I think gap down or gap up, I'm a buyer. So it doesn't matter whichever way it goes. Of course, if it's lower, it's even better for you to enter because you get a better entry opportunity. Have no problems with it. So yeah, just looking forward to the earnings season this week, maintaining a bullish stance on the overall market. We've so far had good numbers all throughout the solar sector. Jinko Solar did well. Sini Solar did well. So any dips of those are actually a buying signal. Notice that they even gave dividends, right? So Sini Solar dips here are actually buying opportunities, 15 and 16 and 17. So very quickly, I'm just bullish on the entire solar movement. So I have no, the trend is your friend. Go long solars, especially the strong ones. But I'd say Sunrun is giving you a better entry point given the drop last Friday. So use that drop as for entry. I bought that actually last Friday. I entered Sunrun. I used the drop. If you'll notice, the drops here are actually immaterial because this is 5x leverage. When you see a 50% rise, it's actually just an 8% times 5. Let's say 10% times 5 is 50. Everything here that you see is 5x leverage longs. So I'm showing to you my eToro report. I have two portfolios publicly, Nikki Yu and Awesome 10X. You can check it out. I'm very bullish on companies, especially even Ford. Ford actually had good numbers. You can actually consider taking a look at these levels, especially if it's at support 13.5, 13.8. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. See you again tomorrow when we see results already for the companies involved. Thank you. Bye bye.